The first thing you must do to become unstoppable as a person is you have a stupidly high amount of self-belief. An amount of self-belief, an amount of conviction, an amount of just belief in your own capabilities that doesn't really make sense. You have to believe you are the man before you are the man. Alright, I heard that saying about 3.5 years ago, back in the very beginning of 2022, before I was on self-improvement, before I was working out, before I was doing YouTube, before I was trying to make money on, business and stuff. This was probably before I even had my first job. I was 12 years old. I heard that saying, you must believe you're the man before you are the man. And that saying has stuck with me ever since, but it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, I think about that every day. It's just been ingrained into me. For you to become great, for you to achieve great things, you must believe they will happen. World champions, Olympians, successful athletes, successful entrepreneurs, business people, people who build whatever it is, anyone who's successful in absolutely anything, always 100% of the time thought it would happen, envisioned it happening. They saw it coming. They go, I know I'm going to win. I will win. I'm going to win. I'm going to make sure I win. And guess how they got there? They got up every single day and they worked as hard as they possibly could until they made it happen. There is very, 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 very few cases where you will be ultra successful in whatever you are trying to achieve without working to the fullest of your capabilities. And even if that does happen, you still have to work extremely hard. And even though it's not to your 100% capabilities, it's still probably 2 or 3 times as hard as you're working right now. I guarantee you're not working as hard as you could. I'm not working as hard as I could. I'm sure I could post an extra video a day. Right? I'm sure I could probably I'm currently posting 2 YouTube videos a day. I recently took about a 4 or 5 day break because I was quite sick for a few days and then I stopped filming and so I ran out of videos to post. All of that was excuses. There was only about 2 or 3 days, let's say 3 days, where I couldn't have recorded because my voice was so bad, I was so sick, I couldn't even really have any energy. After that I probably wasted maybe 2 or 3 days where I just didn't record anything. My bad, my fault. But before that I was posting 2 videos a day for about 2 weeks. For the last, I think now like 3 or 4 days I've been posting 2 videos a day again. I'm posting 4 or 5 shorts a day again. I guarantee you I could post 3 videos a day if I really wanted it. I could post 4 videos a day if I really wanted it. Now, do I think that's going to actually benefit me much more than 2 a day will? Probably not. I feel like 2 videos a day is already quite a lot of videos. I feel like it's not, at that point, if I have to do more than 2 a day, it's not how many videos I'm posting that's the issue, right? But if I really wanted to, I could. Every person who has achieved their goals, achieved the success they wanted in their life, believed it would happen. I believed I could hit a 60 kilo bench PR. Actually, better than that. I believed I could hit a 40 kilo bench PR for 1.5 entire years. So, story time. Back in early 2023, I was working out for a few months, and I started going to the school gym, basically like 3 lunchtimes a week. The school would open up this little weights gym. It wasn't really a weights gym, it was more of a weights room. It was basically this one room behind like the basketball courts in the gym, and it had it was a good room. It had a whole handful of machines, a few racks, some weights and stuff. So it was a gym, but it was small. And so I remember me and maybe there was probably 10 people who would go in there most days, and so we'd all walk down from this where all the classes were. We'd all walk down to the very far end of the gym. We'd wait there. A teacher would come down and we'd go into the gym and work out for whatever it was. I think it was about 25 minutes. I think lunch was like 30, 35 minutes. And so by the time the teacher would get there and then we'd have to leave about 5 minutes before the bell went, it was about 25 minutes we had in there most days. And so we'd go down there and that was open 3 days a week. And when we would go down there, we would work out. And so I remember when I first started going to that gym, I was 13. I'd been working out for a few months. My bench PR on that first day was 25 kilos. 25 kilos. I can now bicep curl that 10 times. I can overhead tricep press that. I can shoulder press that. Not like in dumbbells, but like barbells. That is 25 kilos. For anyone who goes to the gym, 25 kilos is what? 55, 60 pounds? That is extremely light, but that's how much I could bench press. Like bench press. I can now bench press 77 kilos. But back then, that's how much I could bench. My first day in the gym, 25 kilos. Crazy, right? So I go to the gym and I bench press for 25 kilos. And after about 3 or 4 months, that bench press of 25 kilos had worked its way up to about 37.5, right? So the smallest weights I had was like 1.25 kilos. Most gyms are the same. And so it would be like, to go up in weight, it'd be like 2.5 kilo increments. So from 25, 27.5, 30, all the way to 37.5. Sorry, I had coughing. So I'm in the gym this one day. It's, lunchtime, so it's probably like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And me and these other couple of guys who I knew, we're all, rotating through the bench, right? We're doing bench press. All the guys in the gym. I remember there was this one guy who was in, I think, year 9. He benched 80 kilos, which we all thought was crazy. And now it's like, well, most of us probably bench 80. But basically, this guy benched 80 kilos, and we're all just going through, I think every person in the gym was pretty much going through doing like bench PRs, right? And so I go to do my bench PR, I hit 35 kilos, and then I think we're all cycling through doing 40. Some of the guys could do it 2 or 3 times. I remember there was one guy who could do it like 10 times. We thought that was crazy. Which it was, these were a bunch of 13-year-olds benching 40 kilos over and over again. And so I'm like, I've never benched 40 kilos. So I go for the PR, I go for it the first time, and I failed the 40 kilos. And then I wait, and about 2 minutes later, I go on again. After a few more guys have done it, I go on again, and I just barely get the rep. I go for a second one. For some reason, I decided to go for a second rep. Failed the second rep, obviously. But I hit the 40 kilo bench PR one time. The only other time I hit more than 40 kilos on bench was a Smith machine at like a hotel gym. So because it was a hotel gym, the weights were probably not correct, or probably way lighter. So it doesn't really count. It was a Smith machine. This was about probably 9 months later, but that's right. I never hit 40 kilo bench, never once hit a 40 kilo bench again until probably the beginning of this year, right? So a year and a half later. I believe the entire time I've hit it, I know I can do it, I know I can get a 40 kilo bench, and I tried, never happened. I just didn't do bench enough to improve my bench for that time. I stopped, basically I did online school last year, so I stopped going to the school gym, and when I was at home, I was mainly doing bodyweight stuff, where I had like dumbbells. So I very rarely was doing actually bench press. And even when we did have a few barbells, but I didn't really have a bench. So even if I did, it would be on the floor or whatever, and I couldn't do bench for like over a year. So I'm doing push-ups and all this sort of stuff. I'm getting way stronger and all this sort of stuff. I never did bench press. Then, the beginning of this year, I started doing bench press. We had one barbell, I had a barbell, and I had, weights. And I had like when you get like a folding table? It was basically a folding table, and the table had like these 2 fold-out benches. And so I took one of these benches, this little like fold-out bench seat thing, and I'd just sit it on the ground, and I'd put my like yoga mat, I'd fold that up so the bench wasn't too hard, put that on the bench, lay on the bench, pick up the barbell, and then bench press on there. I did that like all the time. I was doing that every day. That was throughout like January and February before I got my gym membership. And I was doing that, and I remember failing 40 kilo bench. I remember failing 40 kilo bench PR at 15, and I failed that, and I was like, this is terrible. I did this 2 years ago, and I can't do it now. This is crazy. Then I started getting in the gym, right? And on the first day in the gym, I hit 40. And the first day in the gym, doing bench press, I was actually a guy that I knew was in the gym, so I worked out with him for the first day. But I remember doing bench, and after about a month, after about, I think 2 weeks into the gym, I bench pressed 50 kilos. Because I was just doing it over and over again. I actually was doing bench consistently. Now, September 1st. Yeah, 1st of September. Right, so what's that? 6 months later now. 6 months in the gym, and I can bench 77 kilos. I've gone from failing 40 kilos, like 2 months before I started the gym, so about January. So now 9 months later, I've gone from 40 kilos to almost 80 kilo bench. Double my bench in 9 months. I keep coughing, sorry. I just believed I could do it, right? I believed I could hit 40 kilo bench PR, and so over and over and over again I tried. And then I was doing push-ups all the time. I was like, I know I can do it, I tried it, I failed, I failed, right? I couldn't do it. And so, for so long, I would say other people hitting 40 kilo bench, you see these, 15-year-olds benching 100 kilos, like, that's crazy, I can't bench 40 kilos, this sucks. But I always sort of wanted to do it, I always believed I could do it, and guess what, because I believed I could do it, I eventually hit the 40 kilo bench. Then I went, and I was like, okay, after a while I was testing my max bench, and I was like, alright, my max bench at the moment is 50 kilos. I reckon I can hit 55. I got like 2 reps, just moving fast. I reckon I can hit it. Go for 55, hit it. Cool. A couple of weeks later, I reckon I can do 60 kilos. Go for 60, fail 60 kilo bench PR. Guess what? I reckon I can do it. I reckon this next chest day, I'm gonna hit it. Go for it again. Barely get it. That's been the story with almost all of my bench PRs, all of my PRs and everything, all of the things I've achieved and everything. I try, I fail, I believe I can do it, and so I just keep trying until I succeed. That happened with 40 kilo bench PR, 50 kilo bench PR, 60 kilo bench PR, 70 kilos, 72.5. I hit 70 kilo bench PR, then I failed 72.5. I failed 72.5. I try again, I failed, right? 2 weeks later, did the same thing. Try 72.5, failed. Try again 2 weeks later, 72.5, failed. Eventually I hit that. Then after I hit 72.5, I hit 75. Then I went a couple weeks later and hit 77.5. If you believe you'll do it, you will do it. So, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. 10 minutes in. Let's go. It is currently 6:43 a.m. I gotta go get ready for school. I'm actually going to record more videos, but I've got to leave for school soon. Have an amazing day. If you're interested in more videos like this, check out the rest of the content on this channel. If you're interested in more vlogs, check out my vlog channel, link in the channel description. And if you're interested in joining a paid school community of young men chasing greatness, check out the link in my channel description or the video description. That'll take you to my paid school community. See you.